into IATD TV, and today we have a nice fun little deck profile for you. We have an Exodia deck profile for you, and we also have a few other things for you later on in the show, so do stay tuned to the end. Got something cool to show you, and we also have something fun to unbox as well. So without any further ado, let us start with our deck profile. So of course this is an Exodia deck profile. We start with all 5 pieces of Exodia. Now, funny story about Exodia, and also a story about why you should always buy singles. When Legend of Blue Eyes was maybe 2 or 3 years old as a set, I sold all of my Egyptian God cards, the ones that came with the first game that was printed, for about the price of a case, in the hope I would pull Trihorn Dragon and a set of Exodia. In that case, I pulled I don't know how many Aqua Madors. I got a couple of Gaia the Dragon Champions. I got a left arm of Exodia. And I got not much else. Didn't get the Trihorn out of a whole case. So that is probably testament as to why you buy singles, and probably also why they put a holo in every pack now. Anyway, moving along, so we have 5 pieces of Exodia. We have 3 copies of Sangan. Now Sangan is going to be a very versatile card in this deck. Now it's going to generally search our pieces of Exodia when we need them. But aside from that, we also, with an Exodia deck, we want to have 2 things it can do. So if you don't have 5 pieces of Exodia in your hand, or don't have a conceivable way to get there in the short term, you have some plays you can make in the short term. And Sangan's going to help us with a lot of those plays, being a crucial searcher. We have 3 copies of Goblin Zombie. It's just a nice little way to deck thin. If you're going to wall out and set it in defense mode, you can get yourself into another one and just keep thinning the deck, which helps for getting to Exodia and also just keeping your life points in check while you try and get it. Speaking of life points, 2 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. It's just a nice card to help you stall out. You're going to go second every time in this deck, so having this just to help gain some life points, and especially in time too, that can always come in handy. 1 copy of Pancratops with blind second, so having this just is a no-brainer. Just gives us some removal, special summon, plays we can make. Cyberstein. Now this is that second part of the deck that I was alluding to. If we can't get into Exodia in the initial, we can always get into Cyberstein. Cyberstein then gives us some very beefy extra deck monsters that we can put up that might win us the game on their own, and have done in previous matches. When I took this deck to locals before COVID hit, I went 3-1. A couple of those were easy matchups against casual decks, so we won't chalk those up too much. But one match against Infernoid was a tougher match, and the game 1 put Cyberstein down, went into our extra deck, and they just couldn't handle it. So that is the power that a Cyberstein can give you. Now my favourite cards, 3 copies of Satellite Canon. Now this again gives us some extra deck plays, as you'll see in the next couple of cards that we make, but this is one of my all-time favourite cards, and this is a nice way to be able to include this in this deck and make it functionally useful when we do. For our Satellite Cannon, we have 2 copies of Machine Duplication. If we can get a Satellite Cannon on board, and a Machine Duplication gives us some very tasty extra deck plays that we can make. I'll show you those in just a moment, but to go hand in hand with our Satellite Cannon, something that we do a lot as well. Copy of Raigeki, we go second, so some removal wouldn't hurt us. 3 copies of Fiend Sanctuary. Again, this helps us just wall out, cause some damage to our opponent, and if we have the Satellite Cannon in our hand, we can instantly get it on the field. 3 copies of Dark Sanctuary. Absolutely brilliant card for helping just control the battle phase, keep your life points in check, keep their life points in check, and just make sure that everything's moving along at a pace that you want it to move to if you're trying to get through to those Exodia pieces. Now this is an Exodia deck, so we need some draw power. 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, 1 copy of Shared Ride, I have literally shared ride into the 5th copy of Exodia and won off that card, so it will never lose a place in this deck. Pot of Dichotomy, it can come up, and it's a nice little handy way to recycle. Pot of Avarice for exactly the same reason. We do special summon, so 2 copies of Duality is the way forward, just helping us late game if to dig through to those Exodia pieces if we've managed to thin our deck out consistently. And then 1 in Secret, 1 in Ultra, and 1 in Collector's Rare of Pot of Extravagance. It's an absolute no-brainer in this deck. We obviously can't play Desires for Exodia, but we can definitely play Extravagance, and just helping us get those extra free draws is essential. You might have noticed as well that we don't play Terraforming in this deck. It's not essential that we get to Dark Sanctuary, and there's enough draw power in this deck that will get us there more often than not, and I found Terraforming was a cuttable card. As for the traps, 2 copies of Metal Reflect Slime. Now, this card does become infinitely better in a couple of months when Egyptian God Slime comes out, but as a wall with 3000 defense, it certainly helps now, and it only gets better in the future. Dark Spirit of the Silent helps us control the battle phase. If we don't get the coin flip result that we want off Dark Sanctuary, we can basically make them replay it with Dark Spirit of the Silent. To wrap up the build, Sales Pitch can just help us get into a piece of Exodia. I don't think any more than 1 copy of this is useful because we go second in this deck more often than not, but just being able to access this late game and go into the 5th piece of Exodia or something along those lines, or to pull out a Cyberstein when you need it, it's priceless. It's invaluable. As for the extra deck, we start with 3 copies of Salamangreat Almirage. Again, this goes from our Sangans. Just gets us into, if we summon the Cyberstein, we can link it into this and just get rid of it, because otherwise it is a sitting duck. 3 copies of Link Karibo. Can just help get rid of Metal Fiend token if we need to. A copy of Anima, it's more in there just for really extravagance fodder than anything else. And then our Cyberstein targets, 3 copies of Alternative White Dragon, Ultimate White Dragon. 2 copies of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, just in case they all got banished. A copy of Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. And then to go with our Satellite Canon, we have a Cyber Dragon Nova and Infinity. And that just helps us to put a nice little annoying little negate on board and frustrate our opponents and just set them back. So that about wraps it up for the Exodia deck profile, but like I said, stay tuned till the end because we do have a couple of cool things to show you, and I'm just going to change the camera setup just a little bit, and bear with me 1 second. So, as you see, we got a nice package from Amazon that we can open, but before I did, I just wanted to show you a nice little cool card in the theme of the Exodia deck that I just shown you. So here we have Exodia the Forbidden One head. Those of you astute to notice will notice that it says UPB1 in its text there. That UPB1 on a secret rare Exodia head makes this as scarce as hen's teeth. You do not find these very often, and it took me absolutely ages to source one in good condition at a price that was reasonable. But yeah, I just wanted to show that off as we've done an Exodia deck profile today, so now was probably the perfect chance to show you what is probably one of the rarest and coolest cards in my collection, and certainly one of my favourites. And without any further ado, we'll get into our package and see what we got from Amazon. There we go. Ooh, there we go. A Yu-Gi-Oh! Funko Pop Exodia the Forbidden One. Let's get that bad boy out of the box. Ooh. That is pretty damn cool. Absolutely worth every penny of what I spent on it, and I think we have a nice little mascot for the channel here. Do you agree? Let me know down in the comments what your favourite deck profiles are right now, what you're looking to build, and if you've built an Exodia deck recently, maybe you'd like to let me know down in the comments how yours differs from mine and what yours does as a secondary tactic as well. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe and share with your friends if you enjoyed the content today. This is IATD TV signing off. Peace out.